In a historic move, the presidents of all 9 historically black Greek letter organizations across the country are uniting under a powerful voter mobilization campaign.
The National Panhellenic Council of Presidents representing diverse fraternities and sororities joined forces for a nonpartisan effort to amplify the voices of black voters. This collaboration aims to encourage civic engagement and ensure that every eligible black voter has the opportunity to exercise their right to vote. With their collective reach and influence, these organizations plan to work tirelessly to mobilize their members and communities and promote voter registration and participation in the upcoming election.
Elsie Cook Holmes joins us now. She's the international president and board chair of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Also with us tonight, Martin Raxton. He's the president and CEO of the Krimson Political Action Council and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you so much to both of you for being here tonight. Elsie, I want to start with you. This statement by the presidents of the D9 organizations came pretty quickly after President Biden's announcement roughly 2 days ago. What kind of conversations were had in that 48-hour time frame? I think a lot of people are wondering, was this already planned or did things just really accelerate after Sunday?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us this afternoon and talking about this very, very important topic of voter mobilization. Yes, the statement came so quickly because the presidents of the Divine Nine organizations, our national Panhellenic organizations, had all been speaking. We have been speaking this entire year about making sure that we could let our collective impact be felt through voter registration, education, and mobilization. And so we were poised to make that announcement because there had been some previous plans made and plans continue to make sure that we can amplify our impact by joining together and making sure that we can get out the vote in our communities. As you mentioned, we have a large reach for our organizations, of over 2 million members, but we have an even larger reach as we move out to our respective communities to get out the vote.
Fascinating to hear that all of this was kind of already moving along. This next question is for both of you. There have been some pretty massive mobilization efforts by D9 organizations in the past, especially when former President Obama was a candidate. What's different this time? Let's start with you, Martin, and then Elsie.
For sure. And again, thank you for allowing me to be here this afternoon and to share the stage with Madam President. I would say what's different this time is, again, as announced, we have one of our very own members of the Divine Nine that is at the top of the ticket. But also we have other members of the Divine Nine that are also seeking higher office. And we have the opportunity to vote for 2 senators in the United States this year that are representing members of the Divine Nine for the first time in history out of the state of Maryland and the state of Delaware that are also Divine Nine members. So this is a collective global impact, and we're very excited to support these candidates and these fine leaders in their efforts of securing the vote and leading the communities that deserve to be led by like-minded individuals that believe in serving the unserved and underserved populations.
Elsie, how about you?
Yeah, I will have to say, though, our arms of the organization, including the one I lead, Delta Sigma Theta, we are nonpartisan, and I will have to say it's exciting that just about all of us have broadened out to create the PACs, to create our 501c4 organizations, so we can go even further in our outreach and in our endorsements. Our core organizations are nonpartisan, but I will have to tell you the excitement is there because we have a member of the Divine Nine, a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, one of our sister sororities, who is the current sitting vice president, who now is the presumptive nominee for the highest office in the land, the opportunity to lead the free world. So there is certainly a lot of excitement among our individual members to be able to see a member of the Divine Nine, someone who is has unparalleled qualifications to be able to be considered, and again, is the presumptive nominee for the President of the United States. So the excitement is definitely there.
Yeah, another example of why representation and understanding is so important. We know civic engagement is a big pillar of these organizations. Both of you have spoken about that a little bit. Martin, what's so special about this moment when it comes to voter engagement?
Well, what's important is that this is a great opportunity to really collectively unite and to educate our communities on why it's so important and what's on the ballot in 2024. Not only do we have great candidates and great leaders that's on the ballot, but there's public policy that definitely, based on the votes this year, could determine the future for decades to come. And when we talk about democracy being on the ballot this year, that is definitely front and center of the education component that we provide to our communities and educate those, and to say, this is the year to get off the sideline and please exercise your God-given right to vote.
Elsie, this isn't the first time we've seen a member of a D9 organization or a black woman seek the Democratic presidential nomination. One of the most prominent, your soror, Shirley Chisholm, back in '72. Yes. You've met with VP Harris several times. What are your thoughts on her carrying that legacy?
Well, I will have to tell you, we always honor and revere our member, our soror, Shirley Chisholm, who was the first Black woman to seek a nomination for a major political party, seek the presidential nomination. So certainly, as we look over 50 years later, because that was in 1972, as you look over 50 years later, to have another member of the Divine Nine to be walking in her footsteps, if you will, standing on the shoulders of so many who have come before, who paved the way, to be able to meet this moment. And I will tell you, our members are ready to meet the moment. And we're really building upon decades of momentum, most recently seen as a collective in 2020, when there was record get out the vote efforts through our Divine Nine memberships, through all 9 of the organizations. This year, we feel like it's even absolutely more critical to make sure that we get out the vote. As Martin said, there are so many other issues at stake. Democracy's at stake. Our fundamental rights are at stake. Absolutely critical.
Martin, I want to turn over to you. These are historically and predominantly Black organizations, but to be clear for the audience, not exclusively Black. I'm curious to know how important is the Black vote and outreach to likely voters who are Black in this election. Give us your take.
Well, our take is, one, we need to dispel the notion that African Americans don't participate in the elections. We do. We show up, and this is another opportunity to prove that we are a viable entity and component of the election cycle. And not only is it important to vote and to vote for national candidates and federal candidates, but also for state and municipal candidates. I have a saying that all politics is local. So we have to ensure that those tabletop discussion points that impact our communities are voted on, and that we elect those leaders that reflect those core values in our communities. And once again, we certainly ensure that the African American vote will turn out once again in 2024.
Elsie Cook Holmes, International President and Board Chair of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Martin Raxton, President and CEO of the Krimson Political Action Council. Thank you both for the insight and conversation, and we hope you'll come back soon.